My mother-in-law invited my husband's ex to a housewarming in a house he bought, left me out, blamed me for controlling him, and the family skipped her party. My mother-in-law, Evelyn, decided a few days ago to send out invites to her housewarming celebration. But for whatever reason, my spouse received one while I did not. And even his invitation was just meant to him, not to me. There was no sign that I was welcome. And that was odd because Evelyn doesn't hate me. I didn't think of it that way until lately. She and I aren't great friends, but we're also not sworn enemies. We've had a perfectly regular, cordial relationship, so I'm not sure what's gotten into her so suddenly. But, in any case, it seemed strange that she didn't give me an invitation or explain anything about it. My husband and I phoned her that day, and she informed us that my husband's ex-wife, Lauren, was going to be there since she had invited her rather than me, and she did not want to make Lauren uncomfortable, so she had decided not to invite me. So Lauren and my hubby got married many years ago. Their marriage lasted just around 3 or 4 years and terminated violently. Lauren was the one who filed for divorce, and the reason was that my husband was not ready to have children at the time, but I can't blame him since he was in his mid-20s at the time and wasn't prepared for that kind of responsibility. I believe it was entirely fair. But Lauren was not happy about it, and the divorce was particularly difficult for him since she took so much away from him. My spouse comes from a rather wealthy business family, and he lost his father during the divorce. Even so, she went easy on him. But that's why their marriage failed so tragically. But Evelyn had always preferred Lauren since she had set up the match in the first place. Lauren is the daughter of one of her closest friends. Despite everything, she remained in touch with her. She even went to Lauren's second marriage. So that's the type of relationship they have. And I know my hubby is not pleased with it. But he doesn't say anything about it since he doesn't want to meddle with anyone else's lives. That is something I appreciate about him. But I never understood why Evelyn was okay with Lauren after everything that occurred. But I never said anything since it was not my position to do so. But now I believe this is a significant matter because you're selecting your ex-daughter-in-law above your current daughter-in-law, which I think is wrong. It's definitely not fair to me. It's also unfair to my spouse for a variety of reasons, beyond the divorce itself. First and foremost, the home was a present from my husband to his mother, and I am not sure why he did not include me despite the fact that it was a gift from him. It just seems uncomfortable, and I feel rejected. More significantly, I believe she should avoid Lauren just out of respect for her kid. I find it insulting that she asked her over to the housewarming celebration of a house that was a gift from her son. Anyway, all of this happened, and of course it evolved into a major quarrel because, following the confrontation, my husband plainly requested that she invite me, and not Lauren. But Evelyn claimed it was not feasible since it would be offensive to her friend and Lauren, both of whom had been invited, and she was not going to insult them without a reason. So that escalated into a full-fledged dispute. And in the end, my husband told his mother that if this is how she was going to behave, he was going to take back his present, which he might very well do because the formalities were not yet concluded, so he may just cancel it. He acquired the house and started the process of transferring the property to his mother approximately a week ago, but it is still being processed. As a result, he has complete control over whether or not to proceed. And now, simply because he's threatening to take back the present and her entire housewarming celebration is in jeopardy, she's accusing me and blaming me. I don't see how I'm to blame for this when she was the one who fouled things up. She's telling everyone in the family that I'm the one behind this, which I don't understand because it's so personal. Anyway, she's been telling everyone that I indoctrinated her son with my crocodile tears and am manipulating him against her, whatever. So far she has only made one legitimate point. It is her life. So she may invite anybody she wants to her parties, and we don't have any say because my husband bought her a house as a present. Even now, she holds the rights to the previous house and may easily move back in. So there was no need for us to undertake all of this if we were only going to hold it over her head. That appears to be rather legitimate. But, even so, I don't believe she's correct about anything else. I believe she owes some things to her kid, one of which is not maintaining in touch with individuals like Lauren. But that is just my perspective. Anyway, what I'm actually here to do is inquire whether we're doing something wrong. Ida is furious that my mother-in-law did not ask me to her housewarming celebration, but instead invited my husband's ex-wife. Update 1. Hello everybody. Thank you so much for your support in the comments. Thank you to everyone who took the time to remark, no matter what they said. So, just 10 days till the housewarming celebration, and it's been nearly 3 weeks since my previous post. Unfortunately, the issue with my mother-in-law has not improved, And she has been going out of her way to gossip about both of us to the rest of the family. And others have even begun to take sides, which is bizarre because I don't see why people are getting involved. A number of family members, especially Evelyn's age, and those close to her, have reached out to us and asked us to apologize for our actions. I don't even know what we're meant to apologize for. Are we expected to apologize for feeling offended by her actions? Because my spouse hasn't actually followed through on his promise to take back the present. And that's all thanks to me because I know that if he did that, it would produce much more controversy than it is now. Thanks to his mother, the entire family is aware of what is going on between us all right now. And I'm quite sure she'd go out of her way to make us seem bad if he did this. And it's not all about that. Personally, I believe doing it would be a little tacky. So he and I concluded there was no need to fall to her level. She can have the house if she wants. We will not do anything inappropriate, and she can even attend the housewarming celebration. The only thing we're going to do now is stop talking to her and avoid her completely. I believe it is the most appropriate penalty for her, and I do not believe that we should apologize for it. Besides, I don't see why she's sending these family members after us. It's not helping her case. It simply leads us to conclude that she doesn't care about anyone else's sentiments but her own. That's all it proves. It will not make us apologize because we have done nothing wrong. And I stand by it. So she may put all of her family after us. It won't matter because no matter how much BS we get, I know there are individuals who support us through it all. All of my husband's relatives, their parents, and a slew of other people are on our side in this, so she's free to rant. Evelyn can say anything she wants, but it won't change their thoughts about who is correct. And I'm very confident that, save from a few people, nobody will bother showing up to her housewarming celebration. And I think that will be ideal because everything began with the housewarming celebration. This is happening because of her. And I believe that if nobody turns up, she will learn a valuable lesson. A lesson that she really needs to learn. Personally, I believe this is because we have not had any direct meetings or talks in the last 3 weeks, but I am aware of what she has been saying about me. It hasn't been particularly straightforward, but I can draw my own conclusions. And I've heard what others on her side have to say about me. They've largely texted my husband and occasionally myself, urging us to apologies. And I know exactly what they intend to say about me in those communications. They honestly believe that I am the evil person in this situation, that I have twisted and indoctrinated my husband against Evelyn, and that I am a crybaby spilling crocodile tears for pity. That is the implication in the majority of messages. And I'm not just imagining this. These people have genuinely said things like this throughout our marriage, so I have no reason to be against her. So much so that I'm actually turning her son against her. I don't know what she's been saying them, but I do know she's painted a very negative picture of me, and these people are falling for it. Initially it felt terrible to be villainized like way for no fault of my own, but I knew it was coming. So I tried to be okay with it, and I know that this will continue. People will want to bring me down in order to elevate Evelyn and make her out to be the good man in this circumstance. However, as I already stated, there are just a few people that are against me. And that's my best consolation because I've made it clear who I truly am. And despite the fact that it is mostly her family, and I have just recently married into it, people know me well enough not to believe anything negative about me. And as long as that's the case, I don't care what she says about me. It's upsetting that she turned out to be this way after being in a regular relationship for so long. But anyway, it's her loss. Update 2. So Evelyn held her housewarming party today, and as I had predicted, few people turned there. It was simply her friends, their children, and a few family members, all from her side. Even yet, she did publish the images on Facebook, and a lot of people emailed them to us, and it was a really disappointing turnout. She was trying so hard to make it appear like they were having fun, but I could tell they weren't. Lauren was clearly present. I don't know her personally, but I think she's the type of person who would never pass up an opportunity to irritate her ex. Regardless of the supposedly cheery image and message, she went around telling others how sad she was that so many people had opted to forgo the event, and she had personally contacted everyone to express her disappointment. Then they contacted me to explain what was going on. She sent the same message to everyone, and everyone who was on our side but did not attend the party received a note from her expressing how deeply wounded she was by their actions. And she couldn't believe they had chosen me over her, despite the fact that I had only been a member of the family for a few years. In addition, she accused me of lying and being a drama queen who is turning people against her. And she stated that she does not understand why people are falling for this act, and acting that she is the evil guy here. Most folks didn't even react to the message. They simply didn't bother. And it makes me extremely delighted since that is exactly what she deserves. I'm relieved that no one showed up for her party, because I knew it all along. Her objective was to portray us as the evil guys. But no one was deceived. She's the one who's putting on a show right now, and everyone knows it, and she can make any number of unfounded allegations. It won't make a difference. I'm also relieved that my husband and I opted not to follow through on threats to take back the gift or anything, because now she can retain the house, and we can maintain our dignity. Everyone can see that we haven't dropped to her level, and that we have won. That is it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at this and see what happens. We haven't spoken in about a month, and now that the party is over, I honestly don't know what will happen next. So let's wait and see what happens. Update 3. Hi. So, it's been about a week since the party, which was exactly what I expected. Obviously, Evelyn does not want to drop this, and she intends to milk the situation for as much compassion as possible. I expected her to confront us in person or something, but she didn't. So far she had been communicating with everyone about her situation via text messages and other means. However, this evening, she resorted to Facebook to explain why there were so few attendees at her housewarming celebration. She described everything that had happened previously. Of course, she presented it all in such a manner that she appeared to be the victim. And then, while discussing the party, she expressed her disappointment that so few people had decided to show up in support of her, but also stated that she was not surprised because, of course, people will sympathize more with the person who is attempting to victimize themselves on purpose, referring to me. She did not say my name, but I knew it was all about me. It did not take a genius to figure that out. And it's hilarious that she believes I'm the one attempting to victimize myself, when I believe it's obvious who is attempting to do so. I'm not the one going around telling everyone how she's making things tough for me. I believe she initiated it, and even after she did it, I kept my dignity and did not engage in the same behavior. Although I could have done it much easier. She stated that in the last 3 weeks, not only the rest of the family, but even the most essential aspect of her life, her kid, has been turned against her by someone who enjoys playing the victim. And she evidently cannot understand why this specific person is so insecure. That simply because she has a nice connection with her ex-daughter-in-law, they feel threatened enough to damage her relationship with everyone else over it. It's funny how she believes I'm the only one who has an issue with it. Because she never mentioned in the post that her own kid didn't approve of it. So, throughout this entire tale, I am the only one who is the villain, according to her. So, if she actually believes that, then excellent for her. But I know the truth. My hubby knows the truth. And I believe that everyone else on our side, which includes a large number of individuals, is aware of the facts. So, like I've said before, it's simply for entertainment at this time. It doesn't really matter to anyone else. The only individuals who responded on her article and expressed sympathy for her were those who had always supported her. Apart from that, nobody has bothered to communicate with her. Anyway, following the article, several people contacted us regarding whatever was going on. And they urged that we meet with her and resolve things, because else, this drama may spiral out of control. They know we're not going to do anything, but they don't trust her judgment since she's demonstrated a terrible sense of what is and isn't suitable conduct. But honestly, we appreciate the suggestion, but we're not going to follow it. We don't feel compelled to speak with her, and I don't see the benefit in doing so at this time. It has been beneath my dignity to contact with her right now, and I don't know what to say to her. Sorting things out would be a viable choice if we were up against someone who was truly sensible. But with her, there is no need for argumentation. It's so vital to her to cast herself down and portray herself as a victim that she would go to any extent to do so. Furthermore, with all of the nasty things she's said about me, I don't think there's any hope of reconciliation at this time. The only chance is that she will come to us and apologize, after which we may consider forgiving her and moving on. However, there is no way out of this. We're not going to talk with her. And honestly, it's clear that Lauren is more important to her than I am. Despite the fact that her son is married to me, she has made it very apparent that Lauren is more important. And there is where the entire brawl began. So whatever. Why bother with any of this? The only person she is embarrassing right now is herself. Nobody else. She can attempt to embarrass me, but it won't work. And my hubby is extremely clear about what he wants. He wants an apology from his mother, but he doesn't want to do anything else for her. He's made it obvious to me that she can do anything she wants. It's no longer a source of concern for him because, given what she's done recently, he doesn't think he can forgive her and let it go so simply. He's always had an issue with Lauren and her relationship, but he's never made a big fuss about it and has followed his mother's wishes. But this is going too far. It's simply not acceptable. And I'm pleased we're on the same page about not wanting to talk to her anymore. We're not a part of all this theatrical nonsense. She can go it alone if she likes. Update 4. Hey, it's been a few days since my previous report, and she finally showed up at our place today. We had been waiting for this to happen because we knew she would eventually show up and try to talk to us because it was evident that no one in the family supported her. Of course, a few individuals agreed with her, but the vast majority supported us. And we know what type of person she is today. She seeks recognition from others, which is why we knew she would eventually come crawling to us. So when she arrived, we were overjoyed, and we welcomed her with great respect. I asked her why she was here, and she made it apparent that she was not come to apologize to any of us, so I informed her the talk was finished. If she wasn't here to apologize, we'd have nothing to speak about since I didn't want to hear anything else from her. Even if she had something to say, she would need to apologize first. Whether or not she intended it as secondary, an apology was due here. Then she turned to her son for aid. But even my spouse glanced aside and admitted that I was correct. She couldn't refute this. So she started protesting, claiming that he was fully under my thumb and that there was no way he was going to let this happen because we all knew she didn't owe us an apology. That's when my husband lost his calm and began arguing with her. And as they were squabbling, I attempted to get them to stop so I could say something, but they just kept going. I tried trying to stop them, but Evelyn eventually became irritated and turned to me and yelled some pretty awful things right in my face. I don't want to say it, but she cursed me out, which I cannot and will not allow. So I told her she needed to go immediately because she couldn't come here and curse us under our house. That was absolutely unacceptable, and she had already caused a lot of fuss. We didn't need any more of this. We had only let her in because we expected her to do the right thing and apologize, but she was clearly not sorry, and we were done. So I instructed her to get up and go, which did not sit well with her. She started cursing at me again. She began telling me that this was her son's home, and she could do anything she pleased. She stated that she would remain for as long as she wanted, and there was nothing I could do to stop her. And at that point, I completely lost it. I can't tolerate it when people curse at me. It is completely uncalled for. And in general, I don't cuss other people out. So I dislike it when it is done to me. That's why I got in her face. And I told her it was my house too, because we had paid for it equally and she had no place in it. We were courteous enough to let her in, hoping she would apologize. But she was plainly not that sort of person, and she had already caused enough trouble. I informed her that I didn't need any more of this nonsense, and she needed to leave. So she began looking at my husband, stating that he needed to do something about me because I had no right to treat her that way. But he merely glanced away. He also told her it was my residence. And he wouldn't stop me from doing anything since he agreed with all that was said. So she started yelling at him, telling him he was an ungrateful brat and that she regretted giving birth to him, and so on. I don't understand why a mother would say something like that, especially over such little topics. However, she was going out of her way to be terrible. So I kept shouting at her, urging her to go until she got the message. Even yet, she didn't go out with dignity. She cursed at both of us and shouted nasty things about us. I do not even want to think about it. Anyway, once she left, it took us a bit to relax, and we agreed not to allow her in the next time she came by. She never got around to discussing what she had come to chat with us about. To be honest, we don't care anymore. It couldn't have been that significant if she departed without discussing it. And quite simply, I don't care what she had to say since it wasn't an apology. But after today there is no turning back. Until recently, we had explored the idea of reconciling with her. However, that is no longer a possibility. Update 5. Hello everyone. So, it has been approximately 3 weeks since our last encounter with Evelyn, and she hasn't done anything. I assume she was keeping quiet, but earlier this week she decided to publish about everything on social media. And this time, she didn't hide anything. She gave names and discussed everything that had transpired thus far. And, as usual, she portrayed herself as the victim of the situation, and was a complete crybaby. This time, no one hesitated to call her out on it. Everyone in the family spoke to her and told her that she was in the wrong, and that she should apologize to us because she owed it to us. Obviously that made no difference to her, as she chose to delete all of the negative comments and just thank all of the individuals who were supportive of her in the comments. It's quite dumb of her to do that since it will just enrage others, and she will be entirely isolated from the rest of the family by the end of this. I can just tell. But she brought it on herself. And I hope she recognizes what a mistake she did, since even those who are currently on her side will not suffer the consequences. She will do it on her own. So, that's her problem. I'm just glad this entire thing is finished because after this post, I don't think we have anything else to say to her. I'm very confident she's not going to do anything after this since she won't get a response from us. So whatever. Everything's good.